Rachel Zegler's career is unraveling faster than anyone could have predicted, and not even the PR machine can hide it anymore. Just a few years ago, she was being hailed as the golden child of Hollywood. She had the backing of major studios, big-budget films, and the kind of roles most actors would kill for. But fast forward to today, and the industry is witnessing one of the most embarrassing freefalls in recent memory. Empty theaters, flopped blockbusters, public meltdowns on social media, and a growing sentiment that maybe, just maybe, Zegler was never the star people thought she was. The excitement is gone, the fanfare is dead, and what's left is a trail of projects that barely made it out of the gate and a reputation that's rapidly souring.
They say all you have to do to make your wish come true is let it echo, 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 echo.
They're remaking the movie, they just got rid of the dwarfs. But they have one token dwarf amongst these magical creatures. You actually just went backwards. You actually just erased the dwarfism side of it. The disability, like we're a disability group, you just erase that whole.
Her latest disaster? A high-profile stage role that's turning into a full-blown embarrassment before it's even begun. Zegler was cast as Eva Peron in the much-hyped London revival of Avita, directed by Jamie Lloyd at the iconic London Palladium. On paper, it sounded like her comeback. A classic musical, a legendary theater, a chance to prove she could actually carry a production. But the reality couldn't be more humiliating. Reports are already surfacing that ticket sales are a total catastrophe. Entire sections of the venue remain unsold. We're talking rows and rows of empty seats, and the show hasn't even opened yet. Industry insiders are calling it one of the most underwhelming pre-sales in recent memory for a production of this scale. Some are blaming bad marketing, others point to the creative direction. But let's be real, audiences aren't showing up because they don't want to see Rachel Zegler. Not after everything, not after the Snow White fallout, not after the endless controversies and tone-deaf posts. This isn't just a ticket sales issue, it's a reputational collapse in real time.
And you know the saying, go woke, get broke, and Disney's gonna lose money on this movie, and I believe it only made less than $1 million.
Oh my God.
It's got extra musical numbers that are incredibly unnecessary that really add to that runtime, and let me go ahead and let you know that they're absolutely f***ing atrocious.
This flop isn't happening in a vacuum. It's just the latest in a string of humiliations that started with one of Disney's biggest disasters in recent history. Rachel Zegler's Snow White remake was supposed to be a crowning moment, a box office smash that launched her into permanent A-list status. Instead, it became a masterclass in how to ruin a billion-dollar legacy. The film was burdened with a mind-blowing $410 million budget, and after all the press, promotions, and controversy, it couldn't even make half that back. With only $200 million scraped together at the global box office, the numbers don't lie. Audiences rejected it. Critics were brutal, fans were uninterested, and Zegler's performance as Snow White, awkward, smug, and tonally off, only added to the film's failure. Rather than bringing fresh energy to the iconic role, she delivered a version so out of sync with what fans expected that it alienated even the most loyal Disney supporters. What was meant to be a reimagined classic ended up as a cautionary tale in casting and tone-deaf storytelling. And right in the center of the wreckage, Rachel Zegler, silent when things were good, defensive when things went south, and now attached forever to a box office train wreck.
This is just so typical of the left. The progressives always finding a way to find their way back to doing something not progressive.
Have they ever thought about maybe like a little bit of vulnerability study, opposition research, that sort of thing before you go and hire some Zoomer who's a lunatic?
Hardcore. They're petrified of some kind of backlash.
But instead of quietly regrouping or taking accountability, Zegler doubled down and made things worse. In a baffling move, she turned to social media to show herself rehearsing and performing in what looked like nearly empty theaters for her. Avita run. Maybe she thought it would humanize her. Maybe she believed it would spark support. But it did the opposite. Fast. The internet tore her apart. People weren't feeling sorry for her. They were baffled by the delusion. Instead of sympathy, her posts were met with ridicule, memes, and brutal comments suggesting she was living in a bubble. Viewers noted the stark contrast between the high-budget productions she once fronted and the ghost town venues she was now. playing. One post showed her on stage mid-performance, with visible rows of empty seats. Another featured her in costume, trying to channel Eva Perón's power, while the comment section asked whether she was pretending not to notice the silence. It was a new level of public embarrassment, and she walked right into it. Rather than managing her image, Zegler came off as someone unwilling to face the reality of her career's sharp decline. The vibe wasn't tragic. It wasn't empowering, it was out of touch, and the public made sure she knew it.
Doing catastrophically. They spent $300 million and it currently has a 2.2 out of 10 rating on IMDb.
The movie has a major identity crisis.
Nobody wants a movie about true love. What kind of woman do we want out there seeking true love, Eliana? It's the outrage.
Pretending like Rachel Zegler is the first of them all when she looks like Lord Farquaad in the film.
So she comes off as an insufferable, whiny brat.
Behind the scenes, Disney wasn't just panicking. They were spiraling. What was once their shiny, progressive rebrand of Snow White turned into a corporate nightmare they couldn't escape. Executives reportedly went into full-blown damage control mode. In a move that raised eyebrows across the industry, the studio allegedly hired a dedicated social media guru just to monitor and manage Rachel Zegler's online activity. Let that sink in. A multi-billion-dollar studio allocating resources just to keep one actor from self-destructing online. But even that wasn't enough. Zegler continued to post tone-deaf rants, condescending interviews, and bizarre behind-the-scenes footage that only worsened her public perception. And if the social media circus wasn't bad enough, things on set weren't exactly a Disney fairy tale either. Rumors swirled about mounting tension between Zegler and her co-star, Gal Gadot. Insiders claimed their dynamic was icy at best, with political disagreements spilling over into passive-aggressive interactions and whispered complaints. Gadot reportedly wanted to keep the focus on the film, while Zegler couldn't help but veer into activism and commentary that left even Disney's PR team sweating. The result? Press tours scaled back, cast appearances awkwardly separated. Behind the curtain, Disney's once star-studded promotion strategy was in shambles, and nobody wanted to admit just how bad the fallout had become. And then came the big grenade. Jonah Platt, yes, the actual son of Snow White's producer Mark Platt, broke rank and threw Zegler directly under the bus. In a jaw-dropping move, he publicly called her out, blaming her non-stop political rants and performative interviews for the film's humiliating collapse. He didn't mince words. According to Jonah, Zegler's divisive comments created an avalanche of bad press that the studio never recovered from. And he wasn't the only one thinking it. He just happened to be the first to say it out loud. Suddenly, all the behind-the-scenes whispers about miscasting, ego clashes, and reckless social media behavior were confirmed from inside the producer's own household. The message was clear. Even Disney insiders were done protecting her. What started as a messy rollout turned into a full-blown blame game, and Rachel Zegler was the prime target. In a last-ditch attempt to claw her way out of the fallout, Rachel Zegler recently announced her next project, a comedy drama titled She Gets It From Me, where she'll star opposite the seasoned and well-respected Marisa Tomei. On paper, it seems like a smart move, a lower-stakes indie film that could distance her from the blockbuster pressure cooker and allow her to start fresh. But let's be honest, audiences aren't exactly lining up to see Zegler right now. The buzz around the announcement was barely audible, drowned out by ongoing commentary about her past flops and tone-deaf interviews. Even Tomei's involvement couldn't generate much excitement. The trailer hasn't dropped yet, but insiders already sense the uphill battle ahead. The public perception isn't just bruised, it's broken. And unless this film delivers something extraordinary, there's a real possibility it'll quietly disappear like her last few projects. The industry knows it. Fans know it, and at this point, Zegler probably knows it too. It's almost hard to believe how quickly things turned. This is someone who, just a few years ago, was being introduced as the next Jennifer Lawrence, or Zendaya. Young, talented, charismatic, with a voice that could shake Broadway and a screen presence directors couldn't get enough of. But that version of Rachel Zegler doesn't exist anymore, not in the public's mind. She's not seen as the underdog with a dream or the fresh-faced newcomer anymore. She's become a warning label, a case study in how overexposure, unchecked ego, and poor media management can obliterate a rising career in record time. Every interview, every viral clip, every awkward red carpet moment chipped away at the image Hollywood worked so hard to craft for her. She didn't just fall, she plummeted. And now her name sparks more eye rolls than applause. In a culture that's quick to hype and even quicker to cancel, Rachel Zegler went from being a breakout star to a living, breathing cautionary tale. So here we are, with the cameras still rolling and the headlines still swirling. The real question is whether there's any coming back from this. Can Rachel Zegler reinvent herself? Can she find a way to regain the trust and interest of the public? Or has the window already closed? Hollywood loves a comeback story, sure, but it also loves moving on to the next big thing, and in this current landscape, Zegler's name just doesn't carry the same weight it used to. The industry is watching, her peers are watching, and most importantly, the audience is watching, with crossed arms and raised eyebrows. One more misstep, and this could be more than a slump. It could be the final act. And if things keep going the way they are, Rachel Zegler might be remembered not for her breakout moment, but for how quickly she lost it all.